I knew something was wrong the moment my phone buzzed at 6:47 a.m. My little brother Jake, texting from his dorm room 3 states away. Emergency fund ran out. Can't afford insulin this month. Mom's freaking out. I was already pulling up my banking app while brewing coffee, calculating how much I could transfer without hitting overdraft fees. This was my life now, juggling a 6-figure salary at MidCorp Industries while being the family's financial safety net, all from my converted garage office in suburban Phoenix. That was me. The invisible miracle worker who kept a bloated consulting firm profitable while managing family crises through carefully scheduled Slack breaks. I ran client onboarding for their biggest accounts, automated half their billing processes, and somehow made their ancient CRM system actually work. I didn't need corner office politics or water cooler gossip. I was productivity incarnate, powered by cold brew and the desperate need to keep my family afloat. And just real quick before we dive deeper, 98% of people who click on stories like this never hit subscribe. Crazy, right? If this already smells like corporate backstabbing with a side of perfectly executed revenge, smash that like button and follow for more tales of executive incompetence meeting its match. Trust me, you'll want to see how this ends. My setup was flawless. I'd finish a client call, mute myself, transfer money to Jake's account, then jump back in just in time to hear some middle manager butcher basic project management terms. I had systems for everything, automated reports, client communication templates, even a shared calendar that synced with my family's medical appointments. Remote work wasn't just convenient for me, it was survival. The company's biggest client? TechFlow Solutions. God, what a beautiful disaster of a partnership. MidCorp had landed them 2 years ago through some golf course handshake deal, but keeping them happy? That was all me. TechFlow's project management was chaos. They'd send requirements in 17 different formats, change specifications mid-sprint, and somehow expect miracles delivered yesterday. I became their unofficial translator, turning TechFlow's scattered demands into actionable workflows. I knew their team leads' coffee preferences, their PM's tendency to panic email at 2 a.m., and exactly which executives needed their egos stroked during quarterly reviews. They loved me. Hell, their CTO once said I was the only person at MidCorp who actually understands what we're trying to build. But MidCorp? They treated TechFlow like a money printer they didn't need to understand. The account managers were glorified order takers who'd promise impossible deadlines, then dump the actual work on me. The sales team would oversell capabilities we didn't have, leaving me to MacGyver solutions from duct tape and prayer. I was the buffer between MidCorp's incompetence and TechFlow's patience. Which made it extra insulting when CEO Marcus Webb sent that email. Subject line, exciting return to our roots, full office integration initiative. I laughed so hard I startled my neighbor's dog. Integration initiative, like we were merging with ourselves. The email was a masterpiece of corporate doublespeak. Post-pandemic reflection has shown us that our greatest innovations happen through spontaneous collaboration and shared energy. Shared energy? Marcus once asked if our project management software was the one with the bird logo during a board meeting. Effective immediately, all salaried employees will transition to full-time, on-site work. No exceptions, no hybrid arrangements. They'd bolded that part, like we might miss the threat embedded in the cheerful font. My phone exploded. Our team Slack turned into a digital support group for people whose lives had just been appended by a man who still printed emails to read them. Sarah from accounting. I moved to Colorado specifically because they said remote was permanent. Mike from development, my wife's deployment doesn't end for 6 months. What am I supposed to do with the kids? Me? I felt that familiar knot of panic that came with impossible choices. Jake's medical bills weren't going to pause for my commute. Mom's mortgage didn't care about Marcus's spontaneous collaboration. I'd built my entire financial safety net around remote work flexibility, and now they wanted to snatch it away because some CEO missed seeing his kingdom in person. The conversation was scheduled for 2 p.m. I already knew how it would go. Marcus sat there in his home office, the irony wasn't lost on me, flanked by HR Director Patricia and my manager Kevin. 3 faces on a screen, about to destroy my livelihood while working from their own houses. Sarah, you've been instrumental to our success, Marcus began, which immediately told me I was about to be fired. But leadership alignment is crucial as we move forward. I kept my voice steady. I understand the vision, but I need to discuss accommodation options. I'm supporting family members with medical needs, and the flexibility of remote work has been essential too. Unfortunately, Patricia jumped in, the new policy allows for no exceptions. We believe consistency is key to cultural cohesion. Cultural cohesion. From a woman who'd never once asked about my actual work. I've exceeded every performance metric for 18 months, I said. Client satisfaction scores, project delivery times, cost savings, all while managing our most complex account remotely. Surely that demonstrates. We appreciate your contributions, Kevin said, looking like he was reading from a script. But if you're unable to comply with the new requirements, we understand if you'd prefer to explore other opportunities. There it was. The corporate equivalent of jump or be pushed. I smiled. I see. So I can either abandon my family responsibilities or voluntarily resign from a job I've excelled at for 2 years. We know it's a difficult decision, Marcus said, tilting his head with practiced sympathy. But we're confident you'll find something that better aligns with your lifestyle needs. Lifestyle needs. Like keeping my diabetic brother alive was a hobby. Okay, I said. Then I resign. They actually looked relieved. Patricia typed something, probably marking my personnel file as resolved. Marcus thanked me for my professionalism. Just like that, I was erased from a company I'd helped keep profitable. I closed my laptop and sat in the silence of my garage office, surrounded by the dual monitors and whiteboard covered in TechFlow workflow diagrams. It wasn't sadness I felt, it was crystalline clarity. They just made the biggest mistake of their corporate lives. I didn't update my LinkedIn. I didn't send farewell emails. Instead, I opened a fresh document and started typing TechFlow Pain Points, a comprehensive analysis of mid-corp systematic failures. The list wrote itself. Every complaint TechFlow had ever made, every workaround I'd implemented, every time I'd had to fix something mid-corp had broken. 2 years of being the diplomatic translator between a competent client and an incompetent vendor had given me a perfect blueprint for what TechFlow actually needed. They wanted real-time project tracking. Midcorp gave them weekly email updates. They wanted integrated communication tools. Midcorp made them use 3 different platforms. They wanted transparent billing. Midcorp's invoices were mysteries wrapped in accounting jargon. They wanted a dedicated team that understood their business. Midcorp rotated account managers every 6 months. I knew exactly what would make TechFlow happy because I'd been secretly building it for months, automating processes and creating dashboards just to make my own job manageable. The infrastructure was already there, I just needed to package it properly. By day 4 of unemployment, I'd registered Phoenix Solutions LLC and built a functioning prototype. Clean, intuitive, everything Midcorp systems weren't. I reached out to Alex Chen, TechFlow Senior PM, someone I'd worked with closely on 3 major projects. Hey Alex, crazy timing. I'm launching a consulting firm focused on exactly the workflow issues we've discussed. Want to see a demo? No pressure, just curious if this solves any of your current headaches. His response came back in 12 minutes. Sarah, we heard you left Midcorp. Honestly, we were wondering what that meant for our projects. Yes, absolutely, show me what you're building. Our Q4 roadmap is already behind because of their system limitations. The demo was scheduled for the next morning. I spent the night polishing the interface, adding features I knew would make Alex's life easier. Real-time status updates, automated reporting, integrated communication threads, everything I'd wished I could implement at Midcorp. Alex brought 3 other team members to the call. I watched their faces light up as I walked through the platform. This is exactly what we've been asking for, Alex said. How quickly can you scale this? That depends, I said, on whether you're interested in a pilot program. Within a week, I had a contract. TechFlow's entire project management system migrated to my platform. They were paying me more as a consultant than Midcorp had paid me as an employee, and I was delivering exactly what they needed without the bureaucratic nonsense. The first sign of chaos came through my old teammate Mike, who'd stayed at Midcorp. Sarah, what did you do? TechFlow just terminated their contract. Marcus is losing his mind. They're saying Midcorp systems are fundamentally incompatible with their operational needs. I smiled, watching TechFlow's project metrics update in real time on my dashboard. Everything was green. Deliverables on schedule, communication flowing smoothly, no bottlenecks or mysterious delays. I just gave them what they asked for, I told Mike. The board is calling an emergency meeting, he continued. TechFlow was like 60% of our Q4 revenue. People are talking about layoffs. That evening, I got a call from an unknown number. Sarah? This is David Morrison, TechFlow's CTO. I wanted to thank you personally. This transition has been incredible. Our productivity metrics are up 40% in 2 weeks. I've been telling everyone about your platform. I'm glad it's working for you, I said. Actually, I've been getting calls from other companies asking about our project management setup. Would you be interested in taking on additional clients? I'd be happy to provide references. By the end of the month, I had 4 clients. All referrals from TechFlow. All companies that had left their previous vendors because of system limitations and poor communication. Phoenix Solutions went from desperate side project to thriving consultancy in 6 weeks. The final twist came from an unexpected source. Patricia from HR called me personally. Sarah, I hope you don't mind me reaching out. I know your departure wasn't ideal, but I wanted to ask, would you consider coming back? Perhaps as a consultant? We're having some challenges with client retention, and Marcus thought you might be able to help. I paused, letting the irony settle. I appreciate the offer, Patricia, but I'm actually quite busy with my current clients. Phoenix Solutions has been growing faster than I expected. Oh, she said, sounding smaller. Well, if you change your mind. I'll let you know, I said, already knowing I wouldn't. 3 months later, I saw the LinkedIn post. Marcus Webb was pursuing new opportunities after successfully transitioning mid-corp through a challenging market period. The company had been acquired by a larger firm, essentially sold for parts after losing their major clients. I was setting up my actual office, not a converted garage, but a real workspace with a view, when my phone buzzed. A text from Jake, insulin's covered for the next year. Doctor says my numbers look great. Thanks for everything, sis. I leaned back in my chair, looking out at the Phoenix skyline. They'd fired me for refusing to abandon my family. In response, I'd built exactly what their biggest client needed, delivered it better than they ever could, and watched their entire business model collapse. The best part? TechFlow's latest project was launching next week. I'd be watching from the client appreciation event they'd invited me to, celebrating another successful delivery. Meanwhile, Marcus was probably updating his resume, trying to explain how he'd lost a company's biggest client to a former employee working from her garage. Some people call it revenge. I call it giving people what they actually want, instead of what some CEO thinks they need. Phoenix Solutions wasn't built on spite, it was built on competence, flexibility, and the radical idea that good work speaks for itself. But if it happened to destroy the career of a man who thought family responsibilities were lifestyle choices? Well, that was just a bonus. They wanted me back in the office to play corporate theater. Instead, I built my own stage, and now they're the ones looking for new roles to play. The show must go on. Just not with them in it. Thanks for reading. If you enjoyed this corporate revenge story, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, there are plenty more tales of executive incompetence meeting its match.